Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome. I welcome you all to this lecture in the course Introduction to Pāṇinian Grammar. So far we have studied the features of the meta language of Pāṇinian grammar, which is extremely fundamental and important to understand first of all the text of Pāṇini's grammar, namely the Ashtadhyayi, and also the system that it operates. So we also studied the technique of Pratyahara and then also the detailed study that we carried out to understand what is an it or what is a marker. That is an essential part of the meta language of Pāṇinian grammar. Now we are studying the functions of these markers or it sounds. This is a very excellent use of the metalinguistic device to explain the linguistic usage in the object language. So in this lecture we will study general theme is markers in the meta language of Pāṇinian grammar, it sounds and their functions. That is what we shall study now. To recap, here are the sutras, all the sutras which term it saudhnya, which assign the term it to various sounds. The first one to vowels and the other ones, remaining ones, to the consonants. 133 and 134 to the final consonants and the remaining to the initial consonants at the beginning of pratyayas, the verbal lists and so on, excluding some specific kinds of suffixes or pratyayas. Then we looked at and we noted down various functions of these it sounds or markers, and out of them we shall study these ones. We have already studied the first two, prescription of addition of suffixes and specification of the position of an element that is added. Now we shall study the specification of the position of a substitute, modification in the element to which a suffix is added and negation of certain modifications of an element in this lecture. And we shall keep accent and meaning change etc. for the next lecture. So let us begin. Specification of position of the substitute. We have already seen that substitution is the major device used by Pāṇini in his grammar. This substitution operation functions with reference to environments, left hand side environment, right hand side environment, and we have seen that these environments are specified by the cases. Pāṇini uses the cases to specify these environments. The fifth case specifies the left hand side environment, the seventh case specifies the right hand side environment and also the meaning. So for example, if we say that x plus y plus z is substituted by x plus a plus z, which means a, in effect A is replacing y or A is substituting y, this can be described as in the environment of x on the left hand side and z on the right hand side, y is substituted by A. This is how you can describe the substitution in Pāṇinian grammar. Now, given this, if we focus on the size of y and A, we will note the following facts. For example, if the shape or the size of y and A is the same, then by default A will substitute y. But if there is difference of size or shape of y and A, there is ambiguity about the exact location of the substitution. What will A substitute? So, Pāṇinian grammar removes this ambiguity by stating that in general any substitute replaces the final element of the substituent. I repeat, in general any substitute replaces the final element of the substituent, and we shall see what this is. So, this is stated by a sutra 1152 alontyasya. So, if y is made up of 3 sounds A, B and C, and if A is made up of, let us say, one sound P, obviously there is difference of size of y and A. Now there is a problem as to where will A replace y. That means where will P be placed? What will it substitute? There could be multiple options. Either it substitutes A or B or C or AB or BC or AC or the entire ABC. We do not know what will it substitute. Now the Pāṇinian grammar specifies that in general this P replaces only the C element, that is the final element over here of y, and the output returned is y is equal to A, B and P, A plus B plus P. P substitutes C. Now there are 2 ich sounds which further contribute in removing this kind of ambiguity by specifying the position of the substitute. Let us study them one by one. Let us look at the ich sound sh. And so when sh is attached to an element, that element will be called shit, the substitute notably that we are studying here. So now if the substitute is shit, then what happens? If the substituent consists of more than one sound and the substitute consists of only one sound, what we have seen earlier, but the marker, that is it, sh, is added to it, then this substitute replaces the entire substituent and not the final part of the substituent. So, to put it in the equation form, if y consists of, let us say, A plus B plus C, and A, which is a substitute stated with reference to y, and A consists of P with a marker sh, and then this A in the form of P with the marker sh will substitute this entire A plus B plus C, and so the output return would be just P. Y is P, that would be the output. So this marker sh triggers this substitution in place of the entire substituent in this specific condition mentioned here in the second bullet. Now this is stated by the sutra Anekalshit Sarvasya 1.1.55, which is an important function assigned to the marker sh. So let us take a concrete example over here, which is shown on the right hand side of the slide, this part. So in the environment which is left hand side environment X and the right hand side environment Z, substitute Y by A. So what it means is X plus Y plus Z is substituted by X plus A plus Z, if this is the format of the sutra, and if Y is equal to A plus B plus C, this can be rewritten as X plus A plus B plus C plus Z, then this A can be rewritten as just P, following what we saw just now, the explanation. So the example is idam ish 5.3.3. What it means is immediately before suffixes stated in 5, 3, 1 to 27, substitute idam by ish. So note here that idam is a nominal root to which is added her, which is part of this set of suffixes, idamo haha, that is part of this set. So her is part of this set. This is the right hand side environment. So this condition is fulfilled. Now this idam is to be replaced by ish. Idam consists of sounds e, d, and m, 4 sounds. And ish consists of only one sound e with a marker sh. But now because of this marker sh, this one sound substitute e will substitute the entire substituent which consists of 4 sounds. And so we get the output e plus her, and then the word returned is ihe, means here. So we noted that in this case the marker sh assigned or attached to e triggers this operation and specifies the position of the substitute. What is that position? In place of the entire substituent. The by default rule would have stated the substitution in place of the final element, but if there is a marker sh attached to the substitute, and if substitute consists of only one sound, then this substitute substitutes the entire substituent, that is this substituent which consists of 4 sound. So E replaces all these 4 sounds, and so we get the form ihe. Let us look at the other it sound which specifies the position of the substitute. So an element to which a ng is added as it sound will be called ngit. Now if the substituent consists of more than one sound, as we saw earlier, and the substitute also consists of more than one sound and the marker ng in it, then this substitute replaces only the final sound of the substituent and not the entire substituent, which is stated by 1155. I repeat, if the substituent consists of more than one sound and the substitute also consists of more than one sound and also the marker it in it, and that marker is ng, then this substitute replaces only the final sound of the substituent and not the entire substituent as we saw earlier in the previous example, where the entire substituent was replaced. So, that does not happen in this case, and that is taken care of by the marker ng. So, if y consists of ABC, A plus B plus C, and A is the substitute, Y is the substituent, and A consists of P plus Q, that is more than one sounds, with the marker ng attached to it, then instead of getting the output in the format of P plus Q, now we will get the substitute, now we will get the output returned in this form, A plus B plus P plus Q. Only C is substituted because there is a marker ng attached to the substitute. So, only final sound C will get substituted. So, for example, if we put this once again in the form of an equation, we see that if the rule says that x plus y plus z is substituted by x plus a plus z, and if y is equal to a plus b plus c and a is equal to p plus q, then this equation can be rewritten as x plus a plus b plus c plus z gets substituted by x plus a plus b plus p plus q, c plus z. So, only C gets substituted by P plus Q and not the entire ABC. And let us look at the concrete example from the Ashtadhyayi, the Pāṇini's grammar. The sutra is Asthi Tadhi Saktyakshnam Anangudattaha. I will repeat, Asthi Dadhi Saktyakshnam Anangudattaha, 7175. If without going into the details of the meaning of the sutra, let me state the meaning to you. It means immediately before the vowel beginning vibhakti that begins with the third vibhakti, substitute anang, that is an, with the marker ng in place of asthi, dadhi, sakti and akshi. Now, here there is another over here after n, but this is only for the sake of pronunciation, for convenience. The actual substitute stated here is an, and n, two sounds with the marker ng and in between for the sake of pronunciation. That is not to be counted here. There is no explicit rule stated in the grammar of Pāṇini to this effect, but the later Pāṇinian grammatical tradition does specify this fact. So, now let us look at the examples. Here we have the word dadhi, to which the suffix a is added. This is the instrumental singular, the third case singular number. Similarly, akshi plus a, the third case singular, a suffix is added to akshi as well. Dadhi means curds, akshi means an eye. So, now here is the environment, a vowel beginning vibhakti which begins with the third vibhakti immediately before this. So, this is the right hand side environment that is fulfilled. Similarly, over here this is the right hand side environment. Now, immediately before this, when dadhi comes or akshi comes, then substitute this akshi or this dadhi by an. That is what 7175 states. So, where would you substitute this an in place of what? So, the marker ng specifies the position of the substitute in the substituent. This is the substituent, and now marker ng specifies that this unsubstitute comes in place of the final element namely E over here. So now you get dadh, an comes in place of E, dadh, an plus a. And then this a gets deleted by 64134. So you get dadh, n, a, and you join this together and you will get the form dadhna, which means with the curds. So in order to derive dadhna, we go through this grammatical procedure, and here are the rules which bring about these stages. So to derive the word dadhna, Pāṇinian grammar substitute this E by an, and this is triggered by the marker ng. Let us look at this example, akshi plus a. So if you have to say with the I, you will take the nominal root akshi and add the instrumental singular case a, which is what we have done in the first step of derivation. Then 7175 says, when the right hand side environment is a vowel beginning vibhakti, beginning with the third case, which is what this is. This is a vowel beginning vibhakti also, and part of the third case, that is the instrumental case. So this right hand side environment is fulfilled. Now substitute this akshi by an. Where would you put this substitute? What's the exact location? And that exact location is stated by the marker ng, which says that substitute this an in place of final E. So we get aksh, an and a. Then following 64134, this a gets deleted and you have aksh, n, a. Then following 841, this n becomes n, and so you get the form akshna. This is how markers sh and ng specify the position of the substitute in the Pāṇinian grammar. Let us now look at the next function of the markers, namely modification in the element to which a suffix is added. Here are the 4 cases that are presented to you. First of all, the it sounds n and y, which are attached to a suffix, they cause the vriddhi substitution, that is a, I and au substitution in place of the initial sound of the root to which they are added. This is stated by 72115. Then we come to the sound d, which is attached to a suffix. Then it causes the deletion of certain portion of the root stated by 64142. Then we will look at the it sound kh attached to a suffix, which causes the addition of sound m immediately after the final vowel of the root stated by 6367. Then the it sound gh, which is attached to a suffix, and it causes the substitution of ch and j by k and g respectively by 7352. Let us study these cases one by one. So first of all, let us look at these 2 examples. One on the left hand side is the example of the use of it sound n, and this on the right hand side is the example of the use of it sound y. So we have this derivation process on the left hand side. Let us study it in detail. So if the speaker wants to say a descendant of Shiva, he will take the nominal root Shiva and by 41112 add the suffix un to it, un, which has the marker n. Now this marker, this sound n will be termed as it by 133 and will be deleted by 139. So we get this step of derivation Shiva plus a. Then because of this n now, this initial E of this nominal root Shiva will get the Vriddhi substitution, namely I. And why I in place of E? This will be clear when we look at the process of speech production, which will state the affinity between E and I. So, Shaiva plus A, then we apply 64148, Shaiva plus A, and then you get the form Shaiva, a descendant of Shiva. So, this Vriddhi is caused by this marker Na over here. Similarly, if we have to derive the word Bhava, meaning the state, we take the verbal root Bhu and add the suffix Ghai to it by 3118. Then of course in this Ghai, the initial Gh is termed It by 138, Ya is termed It by 133, and then both of them are deleted by 139. So now we get the suffix A over here, Bhu plus A. Now because there is this marker Ya, this U will get the Vriddhi substitution and this will become Bhau. So U becomes Au. So Au substitutes U. And why? Once again we shall study this when we study the process of speech production, where the phonetic properties of U and Au, they will be studied and they show close affinity. So by 72115 we substitute Bhau in place of Bhu, then by 6178 Au gets replaced by Av, and so you get the form Bhava. So here the Vriddhi substitution is caused by the marker Ya. Let us look at these two examples where the marker D is playing a prominent role. For example, when you have to say 20th, you take the nominal root Vimshati and add the suffix Dat to it, Dat by 5242, and then this Dat consists of D as It by 137 Chutu and T as It by 133 Halantyam. They both get deleted by 139 Tasya Lopaha, and so we get A, Vimshati plus A. Now 64142 comes in and says that delete this T if this suffix is Dit. It is Dit. So therefore we delete this T and we get the form Vimsha. Similarly, in case of a verbal root, here we have Bhavitas and the suffix is Da, and once again applying 137 and 9, this D will be deleted, and so now we have Bhavitas plus A. Now this A is Dit, and because this is Dit, this As portion in Bhavitas will be deleted and we will get the substitute Bhavit and A joined together will get Bhavita, that is he, she or it will become tomorrow. There is no specific explicit rule which states this operation with respect to verbal roots, but the later Pāṇinian grammatical tradition fills in this gap and has in fact written down a statement to this effect. Now let us take another example which explains modification in the element to which a suffix is added, and this modification is brought about by an it sound which is part of that precise suffix. Here we are dealing with the it sound Kh, which is added to a suffix, and then this Kh sound brings about some modification in the word to which it is added. So here we are deriving a compound which is Jana Me Jaya, which means one who makes people tremble, Jana me jaya, one who makes people tremble. Here we have jana plus plus ag. Then we add a suffix kash to this verbal root ag in the environment of jana plus Now in kash, we know that k is it because of the application of 137 lashakvat adhite, and sh is it because of halantyam 133, and so they both get deleted and we have a. Before that, this gets deleted by 2471 supodhatu pratipadikayoh, and we get jana plus ag plus kash. Then the itsaudhnya applies and we have jana plus ag plus a. Now 6367 applies at this stage because its conditions are fulfilled, and 6367 says that if the suffix has k sound as it or marker, then the pada, the purva pada over here, which is jana, gets ma added to it at the end in this particular position. So we have jana ma and then ag, and because this a pratyaya is shit, so we add the shap pratyaya over here. So we have jana ma plus ag plus shap plus a, and then we have jana ma plus aj. Aj becomes aj because of this shap by the application of 7384, and so we have jana ma followed by aj plus a. Then this aj becomes aj because of echo yava yavaha 6178, and so we have jana ma aj a, then pararupa sandhi takes place, and finally we get the form jana me jaya, one who makes people tremble. Now we saw that because of the marker kh, ma was added to this purvapada, and because this is mum, so this ma is added immediately after the final vowel in this word. The final vowel in this word is a after na, so this ma is added over here. This is how the kh sound brings about modification in the element to which a suffix is added. Let us look at the last example in this particular function, that is the it sound gh. So here we have the verbal root bhanj, meaning to break, to which is added the suffix ghurach by 32161, in which gh is termed it by 138 and cha is termed it by 133, and then both of them get deleted by 139. So we get ur. So bhanj plus ur. So here is the substituent j, which is then changed to g, and because of this g, this y is also changed to ng, and we get the form bhangur, that is one whose nature it is to break down. So this substitution is caused by the it sound gh. Let us look at the next function of the it sounds, negation of modifications of element. So it sounds k, g and ng are used to describe negation of guna substitute in place of ik, that is e, u, ru and lu. Similarly, same it sounds k, g and ng are used to describe negation of vriddhi substitution in place of ik, that is e, u, ru, lu. Let us take one example each. So the it sounds k, which prescribes negation of guna a, o, here is an example. We have the verbal root chi, to which is added the suffix kt by a 32102. Now because this suffix is kt, that is where k is marked as it by 138. So this gets deleted by 139. So we get the suffix t. So but this is now kit. So this will negate the guna substitute, that is chi becoming che by 115, and so you will get the form chita, something that is collected. So guna is prohibited over here, negated. Similarly, if you have chi, nu and thus, this is an example where a ng sound causes the negation of guna. Chi, nu and thus. Now this nu is considered as ngit, having ng as it. Because of this ngit, chi will not be substituted by che, so guna will be prohibited, negated, and so we will get the form chenutas, chenutaha, which means they too collect. And now let us look at the example where the markers prohibit the vriddhi, and there is one example here. This is the verbal form mrishtaha, they too clean. This begins with mrija followed by the suffix tas. This taks tas is marked with the its sound ng, and now this will cause the negation of the vriddhi substitute in place of this r. This vriddhi substitute is stated by, in general, by 72114, but now because this is a ngit suffix, 115 will negate this vriddhi. So it will not become marj, it remains brij. Then ja is substituted by sh, sh causes t to get substituted by t, and so finally we get the form mrishtaha. Here there is no vriddhi, that is negated by 115 because the suffix is ngit, marker has the marker ng into it. To summarize, three more functions of the markers its sounds were studied in this lecture. These markers and these functions are specification of the position of a substitute, modification in the element to which a suffix is added, negation of certain modifications of an element. The it sounds are used as metalinguistic devices effectively to describe various linguistic features through grammatical operations. These operations pertain to almost all components of a sentence. Now, as is our practice, let us end this lecture by reciting an important Mangalacharana, and this is taken from a text called Vyakarana Siddhanta Kaumudi, and the Mangalacharana is Munitrayam Namaskritya Tadukti Paribhavyacha Vyakarana Siddhanta Kaumudiyam Virachyate. I repeat, Munitrayam Namaskritya Tadukti Paribhavyacha Vyakarana Siddhanta Kaumudiyam Virachyate. And today's 5 sutras taken from 3.2 Karmanyan Bhavamascha Ato Nupasarge Kaha Supisthaha Tundashokayoh Parimrajapanudoho. I repeat, Karmanyan Bhavamascha Ato Nupasarge Kaha Supisthaha Tundashokayoh Parimrajapanudoho. Now we will take the remaining 2 functions in the next lecture. Thank you for your attention.